Mess with those signals and all kinds of strange things can occur. Could alien abductions be linked to the energy that creates UFO lights?
The question of the relationship between Earth lights, luminous phenomena, and abduction experiences is, I think, only marginally overlapping. The vast majority of these balls of light, which are seen at a distance, are physical phenomena tied to strain within the Earth's crust. The very few cases where people rush up to the light and have very predictable experiences, those individuals are indeed being stimulated by the balls of light. But the recent case of the abduction phenomenon, where allegedly millions of people have been visited in their bedrooms, it is much more a neuroscience problem than a geophysical one.
Michael Persinger has built a chamber to test his theory. It's completely soundproofed. The subject sits in darkness, blindfolded. A weak magnetic field is generated in a special helmet. A computer controls the field. Persinger varies the shape of the electromagnetic wave transmitted through the brain. It generates different types of mystical experience.
The kinds of things that people report in the chamber when their experiences are amplified by applying these complex, weak magnetic fields would be feelings of moving through a tube, feelings of floating through a cave, feelings of being detached, feeling another mind speaking through theirs, the sensations of spinning and of having body vibrations as if something is moving through the body, the experiences of sudden memories, intense memories from childhood. Now, they may not be memories from childhood, but that's how they are labeled. Sometimes we have had cases where a person feels that they may be dying and they can see the white light. And we can produce that with a certain kind of magnetic field pattern. These experiences are probably very common. Probably of the 6 billion brains that exist on this planet, the majority of us have had something like that. But we have culture that tells us how to explain it. So if you're in a laboratory with people you trust, then the experience of a sense of presence, even if it's aversive and frightening, will be looked at in that context. As one subject said, I know there was no one in the chamber with me because I saw the door closed or I felt the door closed, but yet I knew there was someone in the room with me. Another subject felt this presence. They felt something tugging on their leg. They felt something playing with the genitals. But they knew that couldn't be. So they labeled it as an experience that they attributed to the field because they knew they were in an experiment. But if you took the same experience when you're by yourself late at night in your bedroom, and the cultural label is, it's an alien abduction, how would you interpret it?
Professor Persinger can create apparitions using weak magnetic fields. But how can they be generated outside the laboratory? We are all bathed in strong electromagnetic radiation. It comes from sources all around us. Paranormal investigator Albert Budden has linked alien abduction experiences to electrical fields. Albert researches the stray electromagnetic radiation created by high-tension power lines, radio waves, and other sources of energy. Abductees may be particularly sensitive. Albert has investigated 50 cases. The abductees share one factor in common.
Almost invariably, I have found that these abductees have something called a major electrical event where they've been struck by lightning, or been near lightning, or have had major electrocution, and this has changed their bodies permanently.
I have had an electric shock. It wasn't one which took me to hospital or anything, but it did throw me across the room. I had the electric shock before I had any contact with so-called aliens.
If you look at these people, they almost invariably have a long history of strange experiences, sometimes reaching back to childhood. And their abduction experience is just one in a whole family of experiences that they've had throughout their lives.
UFO experiences, aliens, bendy men, psychic things happening.
But these aren't ordinary people. These are people who are hypersensitive to these fields. These fields don't affect most people.
Electrical phenomena, television switching itself on and off, the video playing to itself for half an hour.
If they then go and live in what's called electromagnetic hotspot, they will start to have all kinds of sensations. They will suddenly see a bright light, which is a stimulation of the visual cortex.
Within this vicinity, there are microwave transmitters, radio transmitters, electrical substations. We seem to have everything virtually.
They will have hallucinations, which is stimulation of the temporal lobe. All different kinds of parts of the brain are sometimes kicked into action.
There's other experiences like allergies, there's tingling sensations under the skin. So you've got to look a lot deeper. You can't just look at the aliens.
They're dreamlike very often, these experiences. And researchers who are very keen on impressing the extraterrestrial aspect on this will filter out all of these absurdities. Trolls piloting spaceships, garden gnomes leading witnesses into enclosed areas, a dog lying in a carpeted flying saucer. These things occur over and over again, and it's quite obvious to me that the source of this imagery comes from the human unconscious rather than from Zeta Reticuli.
I genuinely believed that the experience had happened. It took me about 2 years to come round to actually being logical about it and looking at it in a logical way.
This is an environmental health issue, and in fact alien abduction experiences are just a very small part of a much broader issue, which is electromagnetic pollution.
Nearly all accounts of abductions are recalled under hypnosis. But how reliable is hypnosis? We all have strong memories of our pasts. However, false memories, even without hypnosis, can be created if the subject wants to please their therapist. They recall what they think the hypnotist wants to hear. Even without hypnosis, as events fade and are dimly remembered, we create new memories to fill in the gaps, reinventing the past. It's all too easy to create false memories. A Canadian psychologist gave volunteers what they thought were personality tests. The psychologist used positive feedback to implant the idea that they saw a mobile on the day that they were born. He told them that they were exceptional personalities and that he suspected this was due to their brains being stimulated by the mobile in their cot. He had no idea if it was true, nor did his subjects. One group was simply asked what their first memory was. None of them could recall a mobile. Another group were regressed to their first memory using hypnosis or simple relaxation techniques. Almost half of them reported that they had real memories of a mobile on the first day of life. But babies' memories of events don't begin to function for at least the first 3 months of life. Memory is not a videotape. The vast majority of abductions are recalled under hypnosis by people who were alone at the time. However, what remains is much harder to explain as all in the brain. There are cases of multiple abductions or additional eyewitnesses like Travis Walton's horrific experience.